Mantare79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days! Alrighty, let's begin pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, going to edit deck menu. And now in today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a Stoicheia's Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom, D-BT10. And alright, let's get started. Selecting the deck, entering edit deck, and off we go. Here we are in the edit deck menu. Like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building in today's deck profile video is a Stoicheia's Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom deck, made up of cards only available up until D-BT10. Okie dokie, let's get started. Selecting the filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarti, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Promo Pack number 1, D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, D-BT7, Raging Flame Against Emerald Storm, D-BT8, Minerva Rising, D-BT9, Dragon Tree Invasion, and D-BT10, Dragon Masquerade. Apply filter, filters applied, let's get started. First up, the Grade 3 lineup. And now for the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 3, Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom. Skills, first skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, discard a card from hand. If the cost is paid, choose a unit card with only Aqua Force for its clan or a tier dragon from Soul, call it a rear guard, and it gets skill auto as a rear guard when this unit attacks. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and if it is the first battle of the turn, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, stand this unit until end of turn. At the end of the turn, put into your Soul. Second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it is the 4th battle of this turn or more, draw a card. And choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for Maelstrom, it's the main grade 3 to ride in this deck. Its skill is the first skill. By paying the cost, you can then superior call either an Aqua Force card or a tier dragon race card from your Soul to the rear guard. And the called card gets a skill. When the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you can restand it for another attack. Then at the end of the turn, it returns to your Soul. And the second skill, when the conditions of the second skill are met, you can not only draw more cards to restock your hand with, but you can also wipe out your opponent's rear guards, giving you a better advantage. Alrighty, the Grade 3, Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom. We have 4 in the deck, 1 in the right deck, 3 in the main deck. Up next, the Grade 3, Blue Artillery Dragon, Inlet Pulse Dragon. Skills, first skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If it is the first battle of this turn, and your Vanguard is Flagship Dragon, Flag for Dragon, cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, stand this unit. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of your turn, if the total number of attacks this turn is 4 or more, cost, put this unit into your Soul. If the cost is paid, draw a card. So for Inlet Pulse Dragon, a pretty good card to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks if it skills the first skill. Since this first skill is mainly meant to be used with the Flagport Dragon, we're just skipping ahead to the second skill. The second skill, when the conditions of the second skill are met, not only do you get to build up your Soul for later Soul Blast, but you can also redraw more cards to restock your hand with. And okie dokie, the Grade 3, Blue Artillery Dragon, Inlet Pulse Dragon. We have 4 in the deck. And next, the Grade 3, Normal Set Order, Blue Storm Armada, Storm of Judgment. Skills for skill order. After a set order is played, put into your order zone. Play this if you have a Vanguard Wellstrut in its card name. Second skill, auto. When this card is put into the order zone, activate all of the effects below. First effect, choose up to 1 unit card with only Aqua Force for its clan or a tier dragon from your drop and call it a rear guard. Second effect, choose one of your other rear guards. It gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn for each other Storm of Judgment in your order zone. So for Storm of Judgment, it's an order card meant to be played with the Maelstrom deck. With skills, the second skill, when deployed to the order zone, you can choose to activate all of the effects available this order provides. You can not only superior call a Aqua Force or tier dragon from your drop zone to the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker, bat row booster, or a rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of later in the game, but also you can give that called rear guard or any other rear guard in your field a huge boost of power depending on how many Storm of Judgments you stack in your order zone. And affirmative, the Grade 3 set order, Storm of Judgment, we have 3 in the deck. And next, the grade 3, normal order, Gradia Gradel. Skills, first skill, continuous, Regulus piece. You may only have 1 Regulus piece in your deck and use it a total of 1 time in a fight. Second skill, order. Plays if you have a grade 3 Vanguard of Persona Ride, and if you do not ride this turn, activate Persona Ride, draw a card. All of your front row units hits plus 10,000 power this turn, and you are regarded as Persona Road. So for Gradia Gradel, a pretty good order card to play in any deck in the D standard format. If it's skill, the second skill. When the conditions of the second skill are met, you play this card. You can activate the Persona Ride effect, which is to draw more cards to restock your hand with. Give your front row, Vanguard and rearguard included, a huge boost of power. And then any skills that require you to have Persona Road that turn, this order card can then substitute for that effect. And confirm, the grade 3 Gradia Gradel, we have 1 in the deck. And at that, we just about covered the deck's grade 3 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's grade 2 lineup. And now, for the grade 2 lineup. For the grade 2s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, grade 2, Marine General of Restless Tides, Algos. Skills, first skill, auto. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card with only Aqua Force for its clan or a tier dragon from among them, call to rear guard and shuffle your deck. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks, if it is the 4th battle of this turn or more, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Maelstrom in its card name, until end of battle, this unit gets plus 5,000 power and a skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, draw a card. So for Algos, the main grade 2 to ride in this deck, its skills, the first skill. When rigid on top up by an Aqua Force card, you can check the top cards in your deck for an Aqua Force or a tier dragon to call to the rear guard to serve as a potential front row attacker, back row booster, or a rear guard whose skill you wish to take advantage of later in the game. And the second skill, when attacking while the conditions of its skill are met, you can turn your rear guard Algos into a potential 15,000 point attacker for a front row, and in the event it lands a successful attack on your opponent's Vanguard, you can draw more cards to restock your hand with. And alright, the grade 2 Marine General of Restless Tides, Algos, we have 1 in the right deck. Next up, the grade 2 Tidal Assault. Skills, first skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, choose 1 of your Vanguards with Maelstrom in its card name, and it gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of battle this unit attacked, if it is the 2nd battle this turn, and if you have a standing Vanguard Maelstrom in its card name, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, stand this unit. So for Tidal Assault, a support card for the Maelstrom deck. If its skill is the first skill, when attacking, by paying the cost, you can give your Vanguard Maelstrom more power to work with, making it easier to pressure or finish off your opponent with. Any second skill, after attacking, when the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can re-stand Tidal Assault for another attack. And okie dokie, the grade 2 Tidal Assault, we have 3 in the deck. Up next, the grade 2 Tide Line Dragon. Skill, action as a rear guard once per turn. If your Persona Road this turn, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, choose 1 of your other units, and that unit and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. If your Persona Road is active, even if Persona Ride is activated outside of normal ride. So for Tide Line, a pretty good grade 2 to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks with its skill. When the conditions of the skill are met, you pay the cost. You can give a huge boost of power to not only Tide Line, but another rear guard in your field. Give you more power to make it easier to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And affirmative, the grade 2 Tide Line Dragon, we have 3 in the deck. Next, the grade 2 Love Blinding Maiden Margaret. Skills, first skill, auto. When this card is discarded from hand during your right phase, cost Soul Blast 1 and put this unit in the bottom of your deck. If the cost is paid, draw a card. Second skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if your Persona Road this turn, cost Counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, your opponent cannot intercept until end of turn. All of your opponent's front row rear guards cannot stand during the next stand phase. So for Margaret, a pretty good grade 2 to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. If her skill, the first skill, when discarded for the right phase, by paying the cost, not only do you get to draw more cards to restock your hand with, but you can also slightly restock your deck to push off the chance of decking out. Any second skill, when called while the conditions of her skill are met and you pay the cost, you can not only limit your opponent's defenses by preventing any intercepts, but you can also limit your opponent's offense by preventing them from standing their front row rear guards next turn, giving you not only a better chance to deal damage, but to protect yourself later in the game. And confirm the grade 2, Love Binding Maiden Margaret, we have 2 in the deck. And next, the grade 2, Flow Strike Brave Shooter. Skills, first skill, continuous as a rear guard. This unit gets plus 5,000 power for each blue storm armada in your order zone. Active on opponent's turn 2. Second skill, auto from the back row rear guard. At the end of the battle, your other rear guard in the same column as this unit attacked. If you have a Vanguard Maelstrom as card name, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost is paid, choose one of your rear guards and swap that unit's position with this unit. So for Brave Shooter, another support card for the Maelstrom deck. If it skills, the first skill, for every Blue Storm Armada order card in your order zone, you can give Brave Shooter 5,000 power. And the best part is this first skill is stackable, so the more you have in your order zone, the more power Brave Shooter gets, making him a potential front row attacker to make it easier to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And his second skill, while in the back row, when your rear guard in front of it finishes attacking, but when the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you can swap positions with Brave Shooter, giving you more attacks to work with to pressure or finish off your opponent with. And alright, the Grade 2, Flow Strike Brave Shooter, we have 3 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 2 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 1 lineup. And now for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 1, Tier Knight Theo. Skills for skill auto. When this unit is rolled upon by a unit with only Aqua Force for its clan, search your deck for up to 1 Blue Storm Armada card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard Maelstrom in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Tio, the main Grade 1 to ride this deck, its skills, the first skill. When you ride an Aqua Force card on top of it, you can search your deck for the set order Blue Star Armada to add to your hand to help in your later game strategy. And his second skill, while the conditions of the second skill are met, your rear guard Theo then can serve as a potential 13,000 point attacker for your front row or 13,000 point booster for the back row. Alrighty, the Grade 1 Tier Knight Theo, we have 1 in the ride deck. Next, the Grade 1, Prize Trident. Skill auto as a rear guard. When your other unit attacks, if it is the 5th battle of this turn, cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, countercharge 1. So for Prize Trident, a pretty good Grade 1 to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks with its skill. When the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, not only do you get to build up your soul for later soul blasting, you can also refund your counterblast for later skills. And affirmative, the Grade 1 Prize Trident, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 1, Plan Prevent Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills for skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards with Continuous Sentinel in the deck. Second skill, auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from hand and discard it. So for Plan Prevent, it's a perfect guard for the Stoicheia Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when used to guard with, discarding 1 card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But it also features an ability unique to it alone, which is, when used to guard with, while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Planner Prevent a potential no-cost perfect guard in desperate last resort situations. Okie dokie, the Grade 1 Planner Prevent Dragon, we have 3 in the deck. And next, the Grade 1 Blitz Order Elementaris Sanitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards with Continuous Sentinel in the deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementaria Sanitude in the deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Plays with a cost of, discard a card from hand if your Vanguard is Grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementaria Sanitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when played, discard a card from hand, you can block an enemy attack. But ideally, Elementaria Sanitude works best against opponents who play decks that specialize in having a Vanguard triple drive. Against such opponents, for example, Grade 4s, G units, or Vanguards who have their drive checks increased by skill or card effect, Elementaria Sanitude then can serve as a potential no-cost Perfect Guard. Confirmed, the Grade 1 Elementaria Sanitude, we have 1 in the deck. And of that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 1 lineup. Next, let's get on to the deck's Grade 0 lineup. And now, for the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s in this deck, we are playing Ride Deck Grade 0, Officer Cadet Eric. Skill, Auto. When this unit is rolled upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Eric, the starting unit of this deck, like any other starting unit in the D standard format, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when written on top of, if you're the second to go in the game, you can draw more cards. Alright, the Grade 0, Officer Cadet Eric. We have 1 in the right deck. And if that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 0 lineup. Next, let's get on to the Trigger lineup. And now for the Trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we are playing Grade 0, Source Dragon D-BT Blessings, Bless Favor, Over Trigger, Skill, Trigger, Additional Effect, draw a card, choose one of your units, it gets +1 critical until end of turn. All of your front row units gets plus 10,000 power. If your damage zone has the same number of cards as your opponents or more, choose a card from your damage zone and heal it. So for Bless Favor, it's the Over Trigger for the Stoicheia Nation. Like any other Over Trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation, which is, when revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and get to draw 1 card. But it also features an ability unique to it alone, which is, when revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can activate all of the effects. Draw a card, give a unit on your field +1 critical, your entire front row, Vanguard and Rearguard included, get plus 10,000 power, and if the conditions are met, you can also heal 1 damage. More or less making this Over Trigger more or less a combination of all 4 of the triggers available in the D standard format: Draw Trigger, Critical Trigger, Front Trigger, and Heal Trigger all in one. Alright, the Grade 0, Source Dragon D-BT Blessings, Bless Favor, Over Trigger, we have 1 in the deck. Next, the Grade 0, Dual Pressure Dragon, Critical Trigger, we have 3 in the deck. Next, the Grade 0, Aspiring Maiden, Alana, Critical Trigger, Skill, Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted, cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it's got plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Alana, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks for skill. After boosting, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Alana from your rear guard into your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for their soul blasting, but you can also give a remaining attacker in the field, Vanguard or rear guard, a little extra power to work with. And affirmative, the Grade 0, Aspiring Maiden, Alana, Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next, the Grade 0, Serene Maiden, Lena, Draw Trigger, Skill, Continuous as a Guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Lena, a powerful draw trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks for skill. When used to guard with, while the conditions of her skill are met, Lena then can serve as a potential 10,000 point shield on her own. Confirm, the Grade 0, Serene Maiden, Lena, Draw Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Next up, the Grade 0, Zysofolia Fairy, Asher, Heal Trigger, Skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. Active if this battle is the second attack this turn or more. So for Asher, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks. If it's skill, when used to guard with, while the conditions of the skill are met, Asher then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on his own. Ideally, Asher is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding and attacking multiple times with their units, Vanguard or rear guard. And alrighty, the Grade 0, Zysofolia Fairy, Asher, Heal Trigger, we have 2 in the deck. Up next, the Grade 0, Alchemic Hedgehog, Heal Trigger, Skill, Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Alchemic Hedgehog, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Stoicheia Nation decks of its skill. When used to guard with, while the conditions of the skill are met, Alchemic Hedgehog then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on his own. Ideally, Alchemic Hedgehog is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attacking unit's critical, Vanguard or rear guard by skill or card effect. And okay, the Grade 0, Alchemic Hedgehog, Heal Trigger, we have 2 in the deck. And at that, we just about covered the deck's trigger lineup. And with that, the deck's been built, Cardfight explained. For the cards in this deck, we are playing 4 Grade 3, Blue Artillery Dragon, Inlet Pulse Dragon, 4 Grade 3, Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom, 3 Grade 3, Storm of Judgment, 1 Grade 3, Gradia Gretel, 3 Grade 2, Tidal Assault, 1 Grade 2, Marine General of Restless Tides, Algos, 3 Grade 2, Tidelight Dragon, 2 Grade 2, Love Biting Maiden, Margaret, 3 Grade 2, Flow Strike Brave Shooter, 3 Grade 1, Planet Prevent Dragon, 1 Grade 1, Elementary Sanitude, 4 Grade 1 Prize Trident, 1 Grade 1 Tier Knight Theo, 1 Grade 0 Officer Cadet Eric starting unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1 Blessed Favor over trigger, 7 critical triggers, 4 draw triggers, and 4 heal triggers. Okie dokie, deck built, Cardfight explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck. And here we are, back in the main menu, going to test out the deck, going to fight menu, going to CPU fight, selecting the deck I just showcased to you, the Stoicheia's, Blue Storm Dragon, Maelstrom, D-BT10 deck, selecting deck, choosing my opponent. I'm going to be testing this deck out on, let's see, who would be a good choice. How about Dark States, Danji Momoyama, normal difficulty, and click. And the battle begins. Let's get started. And here we are in the fight. Gonna decide who goes first. So, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock to rock one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock to paper, I lose, going second. Drawing starting hands, I got a Storm of Judgment, critical trigger, a Margaret, a Tidal Assault, and a Prize Trident. Not a bad starting hand. Hold on to the normal units and order cards, redrawing triggers, redraw. Oh, come on, a heal trigger for real? My opponent's turn, he rides the Grade 1, Steve. Skill of Steve, Superior Call Matt to the back row, and Soul Charge. Yes, trigger out of the deck. My turn, I stand and draw. From the ride deck, I ride Tier Knight Theo. Ride deck cost, I am discarding Margaret, discard, ride Theo, skill of Eric, draw card, draw, skill of Margaret, Soul Blast 1 and return the deck, draw card, draw. Oh, come on, 2 heals out of the deck already? At the beginning of the game, I lost half my heal triggers. Fine, going to battle phase, Vanguard to Vanguard, AK. The deck goes through, drive check. Yes, over trigger. And now, critical up. 2 damage to opponent, and boom! 2 damage first. Yes, heal trigger. He wasted a heal trigger. Cannot heal, trigger effect wasted, and second check. Yes, front trigger. 2 triggers wasted from his deck. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 2, Richard. Richard's skill, Matt 2 Soul, and draw. He calls to the rear guard, Lyle, and Krusty, and Stefani. Full formation. 18k, no guard, gonna take it. Ow! Damage check. Yes, critical trigger. Giving all effects to Vanguard. Critical up and power up. Vanguard to Vanguard. 1 trigger to pass. No guard. Gonna take a chance. Drive check. Oh, come on, for real? A front trigger. It's the worst trigger to get in this moment. He breaks through my guard. And damage check. No trigger. And now the remaining attack can go through. So lucky. 28k. I need 15k to block it. I don't have any 15k shields. No guard, no choice. Take it. Ow! Damage check. No trigger. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck, Algos. For the right deck cost, I am discarding Pipeline Dragon. Discard and ride, Algos. Skill of Theo. Search my deck for the order card. Judgment. I'm calling Tidal Assault. And calling Prize Trident. Battle phase. Tidal Assault attacks the rear guard. Lyle, 10k, 10k. Not activating skill. Slash! One less Vanguard to worry about. Boosted by Price Trident. Vanguard to Vanguard. 18k. D-Tech goes through. Drive check. No trigger. Perfect guard. 1 damage to opponent. And bang bang bang. Damage check. No trigger. That's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He rides to grade 3. Diabol's Violence Bruce. And now he's calling the front row another Lyle's third one. No guard, taking it. Twin drive first check. No trigger safe, grade 3, second check. No trigger safe, 1 damage to me. Ow! Damage check. No trigger, Gradiac Gradel, that's not good. 18k, I can't afford to take any more damage. Guard of heal trigger. 20k, guard. Attack blocked, and ka-chink, safe. 1 more attack, that's 18k, so guarding again. 20k, block. And ka-chink, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck. Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Right deck cost, I am discarding Prize Trident. Discard and ride Maelstrom. Skill of Algos. Picking the top cards of my deck for an Aqua Force or a Tier Dragon. I am calling Inlet Pulse Dragon. Call. Activating the order card, Storm of Judgment. Set to the order zone. Skill of Storm of Judgment, revive a Tier Dragon from or an Aqua Force card from the drop zone. I superior call Eric to the back row. Calling it over here. Call. Then I call, giving power, but nothing happens. Calling Inlet Pulse Dragon to the rear guard. Call. To the battle phase, we go. Inlet Pulse attacks the right side. Lyle, 13k, 10k. D-Tech goes through. And bang, bang, bang. 1 less rear guard to worry about. Tidal Assault, unboosted, attacks the other Lyle. 10k. Skill, Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast. Power up the Vanguard. D-Tech goes through, and slash! 1 less rear guard to worry about. Skill up, Tidal Assault, Counter Blast 1. Counter Blast and restand. That's the first, second, and now the third attack, boosted by Eric. Tidal Assault attacks the Vanguard. Not activating the skill this time. 16k. The attack goes through, and slash! 1 more damage. Damage check. No trigger, safe. Now the final attack of the turn. Boosted by Trident. Maelstrom attacks the Vanguard. 26k. Maelstrom skill. Retire a rear guard and draw a card. I am retiring from the back row. Stephanie. Heal trigger. That's the 3rd heal trigger out my deck. Come on. Twin drive for check. No trigger. Tidal Assault and second check. Come on, something good. No trigger. Nothing. I can't believe I drew my 3rd heal trigger. And it's all by draws and draw skills, not by drive checks. Fine, end of turn, Inlet Pulses, go to the soul. Draw a card. Draw. 1 more time, into the soul. Draw. My opponent's activating Final Rush. He calls to the rear guard, Brian and Kigra and Stephanie. Vanguard to Vanguard. I can't afford to take any more damage, so I guard with the heal trigger and intercept with Tidal Assault. Alchemic Hedgehog, Tidal Assault, 28k. 2 triggers to pass. Twin drive, first check. No trigger, safe. Second check. No trigger, safe. So the attack is blocked and ka-chink, safe. Here comes boosted by Brian. Krusty attacks the Vanguard. Guard with draw trigger. Lena. Skill plus 5,000 shield and 23k. Attack blocked. Ka-chink, safe. 23k from this one. I need a 15k shield to block it. No guard, taking it.
No guard.
Ow!
Damage
check. Yes, draw trigger. Lucky. Draw and power up. I drew a inlet pulse, not too bad. End of my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. I Persona Ride, Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Let's do this. Persona Ride, Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Power up and draw. Yes, Brave Shooter. Calling Brave Shooter to the back row. Then I activate the order card. Hold on, wait. Yep, activating the order card. Blue Storm of Judgment. Superior call a card from the drop zone. I am calling Tidal Assault. Call. Tidal Assault. Power up thanks to Storm of Judgment. Then I call to the rear guard Tideline Dragon. Tideline skill. Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast. And power to himself and 1 rear guard. I give the additional 10,000 power to I think I'm gonna give it to Tidal Assault. Power up and power up. And I think that should be enough. Going to the battle phase. First, my Tideline Dragon attacks the Vanguard. 30k. The attack goes through. And boom! 1 damage. Damage check. Critical. Lucky him. Critical and power at the Vanguard. Trigger for the first damage of the turn. So lucky. Skill of Brave Shooter. Counterblast 1. Counterblast. And switching places with Tideline. Switch places. Next, Tidal Assault. Unboosted attacks the Vanguard. 35k. Skill, Soul Blast 1. Soul Blast. Power to the Vanguard. The attack goes through. And slash. 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger. 6 damage. I win. That was a pretty okay fight. I got to draw the cards I needed and try the new cards as well, so I got win. Attack 100,000 more power, drew an over trigger, did a Persona Ride, 6 turns passed, did a Superior Call, retired 5 opposing units, and drew 3 more times in 1 turn. I got 2600 VP, total 282,425 VP. Pressing A to go next, leaving the fight, and returning to fight menu. Here we are in the fight menu, leaving fight menu, going back to the main menu, and back of the main menu, going to edit deck menu. And of that, the deck's been built, card effects explained. I just finished testing the deck out in front of you. So first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you show support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And of that I say, goodbye, and see you all soon!